Let's get right into it. Number 7. No water during a fireworks show. It sounds like the worst possible rule. Fire everywhere, explosions in the sky, and someone says, "Please do not spray water." Excuse me? Your caveman brain is screaming, "Fire bad, water good, make rain." But during large fireworks displays, especially professional ones, random water sprays can actually make things catastrophically worse. Fireworks are basically controlled explosions wrapped in chemistry homework. Many contain metals that burn hotter when exposed to water, or shells that can detonate unpredictably if soaked mid-ignition. In other words, instead of extinguishing the problem, you might accidentally turn a colorful sky party into a surprise ground-level chaos festival. Also, wet launch tubes can misfire, tipping shells sideways so they shoot directly into the crowd. Nothing spices up a summer evening like a Roman candle aimed at your hot dog. Professionals use specific fire suppression methods, sand, extinguishers, controlled barriers, not some guy with a garden hose in confidence. So if you ever see a sign telling you not to spray water during fireworks, it's not because they hate hydration, it's because they'd prefer the show to end with applause instead of a lawsuit. Basically, sometimes water doesn't put out fires, it gives them performance-enhancing drugs. Number 6. No running on pool decks. Every pool in existence has this rule. It's practically carved into stone tablets somewhere. No running. As a kid, you assume this is just adults being joy vampires. Water is fun, running is fun, therefore running near water should be double fun. Incorrect. Pool decks are essentially slip-and-slide arenas coated in invisible banana peels, add bare feet, smooth tile, and the overconfidence of someone who just learned to dog paddle, and you've created a physics experiment called "How fast can a human become horizontal?" When you run on a wet surface, your foot slides forward while your body keeps going back, resulting in a move scientists call the emergency cartoon split. Best case, bruised ego. Worst case, cracked skull, broken teeth, or a dramatic slow-motion fall that makes everyone gasp before pretending not to stare. Head injuries around pools are especially dangerous because, surprise, you're next to water. Unconscious plus face down equals a very bad day. Lifeguards aren't yelling because they enjoy ruining childhoods. They're yelling because they've seen what happens when someone hits the ground like a dropped watermelon. So yes, walking slowly like a disappointed penguin is actually the safer option. Your dignity might drown a little, but at least you won't. Number 5. Airplane mode on flights. You're sitting on a metal tube cruising 35,000 feet above Earth, and a flight attendant politely asks you to turn on airplane mode. Your first thought, what, is my phone going to crash the plane? It can barely connect to Wi-Fi at home. Good question. Modern aircraft won't suddenly plummet because you forgot to silence your group chat. The real issue is interference, not catastrophic failure, but annoying disruption. Phones constantly search for signal towers. When hundreds of devices do that inside a flying Faraday cage, they can create radio noise that interferes with cockpit communications. Pilots might hear static, buzzing, or faint digital chirps during critical instructions from air traffic control. Imagine trying to land a plane while your headset sounds like a mosquito DJing dubstep in your ear. Is it guaranteed disaster? No. Is it something airlines would rather not risk while carrying 200 people in a pressurized soda can? Absolutely. Also, your phone battery will die faster than your motivation on Monday morning because it keeps desperately yelling, "Hello? Any towers? Anyone?" Airplane mode basically tells your phone to calm down, sit quietly, and stop screaming into the void. So no, your text message won't crash the plane, but it might annoy the people whose job is to keep it from crashing, which is arguably worse. Number 4. No flash photography in museums. You finally made it into a world-famous museum. Ancient artifacts, priceless paintings, thousands of years of human history staring back at you. And there's always that one sign. No flash photography. Which feels suspiciously like a power move. Oh sure, you can look at this painting, but don't you dare illuminate it for 0.3 seconds. But the rule exists because flash is basically a tiny artificial sun punching artwork directly in the face. Many historical pieces, especially old paintings, fabrics, manuscripts, and photographs, are extremely sensitive to light. Pigments fade, dyes break down, paper yellows, colors slowly surrender like they're being interrogated by photons. Now multiply that by thousands of visitors per day, each unleashing their pocket lightning. Congratulations, you've invented death by paparazzi. Museums carefully control lighting levels to slow down this decay. Even normal room light causes damage over time. Flash just speeds up the process like fast-forwarding entropy. It's less, take a photo, and more, micro-age this artifact by a few extra minutes. Also, flashes can distract other visitors, guards, and in some cases trigger motion sensors designed to protect the art from theft. Nothing says memorable cultural experience like accidentally summoning security because you wanted a brighter selfie with a medieval spoon. So that rule isn't about ruining your Instagram aesthetic. It's about making sure the art still exists for people who aren't you. Basically, museums would like these objects to survive longer than your camera battery. Number 3, don't feed wild animals. It feels wholesome. You toss a piece of bread to a duck. You give a monkey a snack. You become Snow White for approximately 12 seconds. Then nature files a complaint. Feeding wild animals trains them to associate humans with food, which sounds adorable until they stop fearing you entirely. And animals without fear are basically furry gamblers with terrible impulse control. Ducks become aggressive, monkeys turn into professional thieves, bears graduate to walking refrigerator inspection units. Suddenly the animal isn't visiting for a treat, it's demanding tribute like a tiny feathery tax collector. Even worse, human food often wrecks their health. Bread, chips, sweets, it's junk food to them too. Malnutrition, deformities, disease, dependency, all because someone thought tossing snacks would be cute. There's also the population problem. Reliable food sources mean more animals survive than the ecosystem can handle, leading to overcrowding, conflict, and sometimes forced culling. Nothing kills the mood faster than realizing your snack created an ecological crisis. And yes, animals can become dangerous. A raccoon with no fear is basically a burglar wearing pajamas. So wildlife officials aren't anti-fun. They're trying to prevent a Disney scene from turning into a survival documentary. Nature works best when it doesn't think you're Uber Eats. Number 2, stay seated during turbulence. You're on a flight, everything is calm, then suddenly the plane drops a few feet and your stomach teleports into your throat. Seatbelt sign turns on. Half the cabin immediately thinks, I should go to the bathroom right now. Bad timing. Turbulence isn't just a little bump, it's invisible chaos in the air, shifting currents strong enough to toss around something that weighs hundreds of tons, and unlike potholes on a road, pilots can't just steer around it easily because, surprise, there are no lane markings in the sky. When you're seated with a belt on, you're basically strapped to the safest part of the plane. When you're standing in the aisle, you're a free-range projectile. Sudden drops can slam people into ceilings, armrests, carts, or each other. Flight attendants get injured most often because they're the only ones still moving around. Airborne occupational hazard, literally. There have been cases where turbulence caused people to hit the ceiling so hard they left dents. Not metaphorical dents, actual human-shaped imprints. So the rule isn't about comfort, it's about preventing you from becoming cabin decor. When the sign lights up, it's basically saying, please sit down so gravity doesn't audition you for a stunt role. Number 1, don't stand too close to the edge. Cliffs, train platforms, rooftops, subway tracks, scenic overlooks, everywhere beautiful and dangerous. There's always some version of this rule. Stay back. And every human brain immediately responds with, but what if I lean just a little? Congratulations, you are now participating in a psychological phenomenon called the call of the void, where your brain casually suggests terrible ideas just to make sure you don't do them. It's like your mind installing intrusive thoughts as a safety test, but the physical danger is much less philosophical and much more gravity-shaped. Edges are unpredictable. Wind gusts don't send calendar invites. Loose gravel doesn't announce itself. One tiny slip, one unexpected shove from someone behind you, one misplaced step while trying to get the perfect photo. And suddenly you're learning about terminal velocity firsthand. Train platforms are especially nasty because trains create suction as they pass, pulling air, and anything loose, toward them. Standing too close is basically volunteering to play tug-of-war with a steel building moving at highway speed. Cliffs add erosion, unstable rock, and the human tendency to step backward while posing for pictures. History is full of people who trusted a rock that had been thinking about quitting for centuries. And yes, phones are a huge factor. People lean, twist, step back, or forget spatial awareness entirely while framing a shot. Evolution did not prepare us for balancing on ledges while checking if our hair looks symmetrical. So the rule isn't about spoiling your view, it's about ensuring you don't become part of the landscape permanently. Nature has no railings. Humans invented them because gravity has a 100% success rate. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.